Chakshur Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuthapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Tahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anbitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brunda Baneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we will be reading text 18 and text 19. This particular section is that Uddhava, the dearmost associate of Krishna and also the best devotee outside of Vrindavan, has lost the presence, physical presence of Lord Shri Krishna. Basically, Lord Shri Krishna has left the planet, and Uddhava, the best devotee of Krishna, he is really like going through a lot of emotion. At that point, Vidura, who is the brother of Dhritarashtra, who is on the pilgrimage when the battle of Kurukshetra is happening, he comes across Uddhava, and seeing Uddhava, Vidura gets so happy and he pours tons of questions on Uddhava. How are the people in Dwarka? How is this person? How is that person? And so on. When Vidura was asking all these questions, Uddhava just gets transported to Dwarka Loka in the spiritual world. It was when you are asking someone something and they just don't say anything and they say silent, we get offended. But Uddhava, Vidura was able to understand that Uddhava has completely in the love of personality of Godhead. He has attained the perfection of complete absorption in Krishna. So he respects that space. But Uddhava is still conscious, and then he gets pulled to this world directly from the spiritual world to here for the sake of doing service of answering the questions to Vidura. Of course, it's also mentioned there that Krishna also sent him. He said that, you have to go and do this service. So, and Uddhava comes back to this world, and then he's pouring his heart. In this section, Uddhava goes on the mercy of Krishna. The mercy of Krishna, especially in a contradictory way. So we're going to say a little bit in the text 18 and text 19, and it continues till text 23. So the text 18 goes, Kova amosha angri saroja renum vismartum ishita puman vijigran yo vishpurat bruvita pena bhumer Bharam krutenantena tiraschakara. Ko va ha, who else? Va either. Amushya, the Lord's angry, the feet. Saroja renum, dust of the lotus. Vismatum, forget. Ishita, may be able. Puman, by the persons. Vijigran, smelling. Yo Vishpurat, yo one who. Vishpurat, expanding. Brew with a pena, by the leaves of the eyebrows. Bhume, of the earth. Bharam, burden. Krita, antena, by death blows. Tiraschakara. So, Uddhava is telling about Krishna, who can forget, who forget the Lord after smelling Saroja Renu, the dust of the lotus. So note the contradiction here. So there is a lotus and there's a dust around it. And then, with Uddhava is telling, there's a smell to it. And more to it, whoever has once smelled it, even if they want, Ishita means like you really want to forget. You cannot forget. Ko va amushangiri saroja renu vismartam ishita human vijagra. So, who is that Krishna? Is Yo Vispurat, like Vispurat, Spurat, Spurti, something that comes out. Spurat, it is said to be the leaves. Prabhupada says leaves as eyebrows, and it's also explained. It's a budding. It's very, very like young, budding eyebrows, leaves of the eyebrows. So just Krishna raises them. Vispurat, brew with a pena boomer baram, boomer baram. Just by raising his eyebrows, he just completely wipes out the baram on the earth by sanctioning or executing death blows. So the translation goes, who after smelling the dust of his lotus feet once could ever forget it, simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows. Krishna has given death blow to those who were burdening the earth. Purport: Lord Krishna cannot be accepted as one of the human beings, even though he played the role of an obedient son. His actions were so extraordinary that by simply raising his eyebrows, he could deliver death blows to those who were burdening the earth. So that's a specialty. That is the reality of Krishna. That is extraordinary. He's playing the role of an obedient son, yet he has the power, and also doing it, he just simply raises the eyebrows. He doesn't need to do anything. And then whatever the burden is there on the earth from many people or many situations and so on, he just lifts it up. So text 19. So here Uddhava says, what to speak of this Vidura? You have seen by yourself. Here is Dushtva Bhavad Bir Nanu Rajasuya. In the Rajasuya Yajna, it was seen by yourself. Chaityasya Krishnam Dushatopi Siddhihi. So the Chaitya, the king of Chedi, Shishupal, was like offending and offending. And the result of the offense to Krishna is he attained Siddhi, he attained perfection, he attained success. What is that success? Yam yogina sprayanti samyag yogena kastad viraham saheta. That success is verily desired by the performance of yoga, who are performing the yoga heart and soul. Who can tolerate the separation from such a person? Tat viraham saheta. Translation: you have personally seen how the king of Chedi, Shishupal, achieved success in yoga practice, although he hated Lord Krishna. He didn't hate it normally. Prabhupada is going to explain how much he hated. Even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? It is such a nice feeling, no? Just to read or hear the separation, the feelings of separation from Uddhava. Purport: Lord Krishna's causeless mercy was exhibited in the great assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was merciful even to his enemy, the king of Chedi, who always tried to be an envious rival of the Lord. Because it is not possible to be a bona fide rival of the Lord, the king Chedi was extremely malicious towards Lord Krishna. In this, he was like many other asuras, such as Kamsa and Jarasandha. In the open assembly of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Shishupala insulted Lord Krishna and he was finally killed by the Lord. But it was seen by everyone in the assembly that a light flashed out of the body of the king of Chedi and merged into the body of Lord Krishna. This means that Chedi Raja achieved salvation of attaining oneness with the Supreme, which is the perfection most desired by the Jnanis and Yogis, for which they execute the different types of transcendental activities. It is a fact that a person who are trying to understand the supreme truth by their personal endeavors of mental speculation or mystic powers of yoga achieve the same goal as others who are personally killed by the Lord. Both achieve the salvation of merging in the Brahma Jyoti rays of the transcendental body of the Lord. The Lord was merciful even to his enemy, and the success of the king of Chedi was observed by everyone who was present in the assembly. Vidura was also present there, and therefore Uddhava referred the incident to his memory. This particular incident actually triggers a lot of discussion on the partial nature of Krishna in the 7th canto. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Narada Muni, how is it that these yogis, they're working so hard to attain success in their endeavors? You know, right? We have went over the practice of yoga a little bit in the 2nd canto, where Parshit Maharaj asked about the process of Dharanashraya. So there, Sukadeva Goswami elaborately explains that how, when one comes to the practice of yoga, starts practicing this 8 limbs, and if they're not purified enough at the stage of dharana, they have to do the meditation on the Virat Rupa, or if they're purified enough, they can go with the meditation on Paramatma. But it doesn't end there. Even after Paramatma and meditation, the yogi has to progress from dhyana to samadhi And even it doesn't stop there. The yogi has to go through the Satchakra Yoga and then comes to liberation. And what to speak of uh, the yogi who is not sufficiently purified? He has to go through the different planets. And it takes a lot of time. It takes many births. It takes a lot of effort. But this king of Chedi, just, he was insulting Krishna in the assembly of Rajasvi Yajna. That's it. He gets the liberation just like that. So Yudhishthira Maharaj gets done. How is that? These people are working so hard, and then the Shishupal gets the liberation just like that. So the lesson that comes out there is Krishna is never partial. Actually, this section also qualifies him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is all auspicious, he's all vindictory. Even, the people are doing the wrong things or bad things. Here in this case, he was extremely malicious. Shishupal was extremely malicious from the beginning of his birth. But Krishna, mercy never goes away. He is always merciful. Prabhupada always gives the example of parent with multiple children. If a children is weak, if children is this thing, the parents' love and mercy, cannot go away. So this defines the Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the God we should worship. He is the God we should give our heart and soul. No one else can do this, or no one else doing this. So going back to the text 18, so Krishna is so merciful. He wants to give us a glance, or he wants to save us from speculation, thinking how Krishna will be, what does he do, and so on. And he also wants to save us from illusion, thinking that, whatever we are living right now, whatever the current place is all in all. So he wants to save us. So he comes. He comes for multiple reasons, but one of the reason is to protect all the people in general, not just his pure devotees. So here his perfected pure devotee is telling, my dear Vidura, who can forget him if they have just able to smell the dust of his lotus feet even once. That is the standard of Krishna and his process of devotional service. It was already mentioned in the first canto that the sages of Naimisharanya asked 6 questions to Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami answers to 2 of the questions, which are like, what is the ultimate benefit for all living entities? How is it that one can attain it easily, and so on. So Sutta Goswami tells it is devotion service to Krishna, and that too, it needs to be performed ahetuki apratihata. There is no hetu, there is no cause, and then there is no reason. I also wondered what is this ahetuki apratihata means. And recently I was reading the section of Mother Devahuti and Kapala Muni And Kapila Bhagavan was telling, what does it mean is like we hear of Krishna, that's it, the mind just goes there. So that's the standard. So yes, if devotee is able to experience even once, there is a lot of glory. In the sense, the same 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 thing was said by Narada Muni to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva was writing all the Vedas, and Narada Muni comes and chastises him. And Vyasadeva's voice is, people cannot handle bhakti to Krishna or devotion service because they can fall off. And there, Narada Muni tells in a similar way, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down, somehow or other, he certainly doesn't undergo material existence like others, fruity workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So this is the process, dear devotees, that we need to get to experience or smell the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. If we can experience, if we can practice our chanting and practice our devotional service that way, then we get to see all the magic of Krishna. The magic of Krishna is that Krishna is chastising left and right, or even killing. It is still so beneficial. Or say it other way, if Krishna's mercy is so great for an enemy, how it is going to be for an innocent, sincere devotees? May our heart gets inspired, touched, and blessed by the association of Rudra and Uddhava, and tickle our sincerity and interest for smelling the lotus feet, dust of the lotus feet. We get to experience that smell, and then maybe progress to the stage of seeing the mercy of Krishna only, because that's the reality. Krishna is never not merciful. People get scared, when you come to Hari, he will take away and so on. When we try to go give Bhagavad Gita, they say, no, we don't want Bhagavad Gita because it will produce some kalaha, some problems and so on. But Krishna is a Supreme Lord. He doesn't need the people's problems or anything. He's all auspicious. He's all benedicting. And in this section, we are blessed to know that even he is chastising, even the way of chastising is so sweet. He just simply raises like bubbling like eyebrows, and that's it. Everything gets settled down. And then people who are chastised, they're awarded greatest benediction. That's it, dear devotees. Thank you so much for your audience, for your presence, and please bless me a little bit of Krishna consciousness. Any discussion? Anyone want to say something? Or actually, I encourage everyone to say something. because this is Bhagavatam and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. It is, yeah, it's nice.
Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's, I don't know, I was feeling so calm and present and just literally be there in the discussion and feel Uddhava's feelings, I'm sure because of your appreciation and connection to Srimad Bhagavatam, you are able to share that kind of, connection for us too. There was also feeling very happy. Generally, when we hear or read the scriptures at the end of the chapter or end of the thing, they say, this is a Palashruti. If you read this or if you hear this, this is what you get. And your prayer, and I'm taking it as blessing. I know you will say that's a prayer, asking for benediction. That's like a Palashruti for hearing this morning class. So it's so nice. Particularly, as we have been praying to Lord Chaitanya yesterday, just so amazing. What is the process of bhakti and what is Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna ready to give? And just unfathomable compassion and mercy. Bringing that aspect is such a deep.
Yeah. It's not conceivable. The parents' love for the child is always not conceivable. The child is never going to understand how much the parents are doing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhu.
No, if that Mata's point is done, sorry. Amritkil Mataji, you are done, or sorry, I was not sure.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. I mean, when I read these kind of verses, right? I mean, and also Ajamela story and all. So, I mean, it looks like there is a, one-off situations, right? It looks like that. So, but then I feel there is a contradiction here. Maybe if you can just help with that. So on the one side, Shishupala was envious of the Lord. He got the best benefit, and Potana's case, Ajamila's case, right? All these scenarios. But there are other in this case, Uddhava is talking about the yogis, right? So who are really aspiring to see the Lord, but they won't get so easily, right? So they need to work very, very hard. So, I mean, it looks like there is a contradiction, Prabhu. Maybe if you can just help in understanding that.
What's the contradiction, Prabhu?
No, I mean, they need to work very hard and they are trying to really favorably trying to do that. And the other side
but
is...
they don't have Krishna.
Okay, that way, yes.
Yeah, so Krishna is always inviting. I was also appreciating the similar thing in the section between Kapil Bhagavan and Devahuti. Kapil Bhagavan is explaining so nicely the dharana process of the yogis. So in that section, actually Sukadeva, it is mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami combines the practice for both bhaktas and yogis. So the yogis, they're meditating on the limbs of the Lord or on the Lord himself, but they have a very not good regard. And so Krishna doesn't give the sweetness, but he still awards the liberation, or benedicts the liberation. So Krishna is ready to take us, but if people are not wanting it, he's not able to force it. And you are saying they are doing favorably, but they are also not doing favorably. Like they're actually literally, even though they're meditating on the limbs of the limbs of Paramatma, they're having the impersonal conception and and they gave it up. Actually, so much mercy Krishna gives, and they just give up the Paramatma meditation and takes to the impersonal liberation. It is so sad. It's the 28th chapter. Although this is the Prasadharana, the chapter title is the execution of devotion service, something like that. So there is no contradictory. Krishna always stands Supreme Lord, always stands benedicting. And here, he is outright envious, outright enemy. And then that's a special favor of Krishna. So there's no contradiction. Or that's what, this is going to come in a greater extent in the 7th canto about the partial. Krishna is never partial. Krishna is always loving. It's just, we are trained in a wrong way. We are through this conditioning of the modes. And if we can take the training of Srila Prabhupada and Srimad Bhagavatam, then, then we get to see the other side, the real side. There's no contradiction. It's not one-off. I also troubled myself a long time whenever I hear the mercy of Krishna and the Putana. I always used to ask the question. I'm practicing so much, but I'm not saying it.
That verse is going to come, Prabhu, right now. Maharaj is going to talk, I think so.
So that's the question I used to ask Maharaj. And sometimes Maharaj used to smile. But yeah, I even remember asking this question in Sangeeta Mata's home in Naperville here. So Krishna is benedicting for this indirect and for these enemies. How much benediction it must be for the sincere innocent practices. So yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
We need to give a lot of attention to the words of Srila Prabhupada and hear his heart. Yeah, we have to practice it.
Prabhu, just a follow-up question to Prabhu. Is that because of their intensity of that remembrance and absorption also? Because so many people may be envious, but not everybody could be getting that kind of a position.
Yeah, that's also the point, Mata. Yeah, it's all about the bringing attention to Krishna.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. I was thinking when
if you go that way, but there is also that Krishna conscious can happen in Muhurta also. Ha ha ha.
That would be wonderful. We all can aspire for that mood.
Krishna is not limited. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. That's the essence. There is no rule, nothing, that can stop him. He's unlimited. In any case, it's 8:08.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had one little thing to say, please. That was, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Because Shishupal, we know the identity of Shishupal, and we know Krishna's, Krishna's love for his own servant, his own personal servant. But if we see some third party, speaking rough things like that, or behaving in a very
it's not easy.
Then we will stay far.
I was thinking, why did Lakshmikant Prabhu gave me this verse? And that's like I cannot conceive Uddhava's
and even if persons are undergoing some kind of calamity, or they are they behave like chandalas or something, we like to stay away from them. We don't think that they are being put through a test by Krishna. We like to avoid totally. We don't see that crisis in their life as a, and we don't know when Krishna is like that verse is there, no, Prabhu, that I give them more and more birds in Asurim, yeah, that is, they feel more and more removed from me. Yeah. So we can hardly ever appreciate in the suffering in others' life. We think the suffering in this kind of misbehaviors and so that reminds me to ask one more question, Prabhu, which I think everybody knows the answer. Jagai and Madhai are this one, Shishpal and Dandavakra come back or in Chaitanya Leela? Oh, okay, they are, no? Okay.
In where Prabhu? Where Mataji?
Huh? Prabhu?
In the Bhagavatam?
No, the Jagai and Mathai, they are also incarnations of Shishupal and Dandavakra.
Oh, I don't know.
Are they? I
don't know much about anything else.
Oh, okay. So,
I only know. I only know 2 verses, whatever little I could read. Actually, that actually brings us, nice conclusion of having His Holiness Rompad Maharaj presence this evening. And his visit is pretty short. So we can, this opportunity to express our heart and take inspiration and take help and zoom up our Krishna consciousness. My little offering is, to read this small verses and just whatever little I can share, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you for your blessings, Mataji.
We have the class today for Maharaj evening.
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you share that address, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. It should be communicated. I'll check with them. It's in Carol stream somewhere at the evening. Yeah.
It came, Prabhu, already, right? I think Premanand Mataji sent it.
Oh, yeah. She sent it yesterday, something like that. Yeah.
ITOCG group, I think, Prabhu. I don't know if you are there. I will forward it to you.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.